Okay. Okay. So we didn't manage to record this on a live stream, but I am recording here with my friend Trudy, who has come to join me today. And I am so thrilled to have her here. Trudy, thank you so, so much for joining me today.
Pleasure, Charlie.
Trudy
Lovely to be
is a
here.
mum and a coach, and Trudy has been where we all are at the moment. She's been a wife, she's parented 2 boys while also having a corporate career. She is still parenting her boys, even though they have moved out of their home, and is still working as a coach. And I have had the privilege of learning and growing with Trudy, and I've invited her here today to interview me in her role as a working mum herself, because I believe that she can ask me the questions that you may be wanting to ask when we start to talk about this concept of resilience. But before we get started, I wanted to ask you in the audience something. So I wanted you to think about this. How many of you here watching the replay or listening to this on the podcast believe that finding balance, finding that elusive idea of balance in your life is something that you will never have in this season? Do you long to be calm and at ease, but you just think that this is just the way it's going to be for the next however many years until the children move out, or you don't have to work so hard until you can just breathe again? If that is you, over the next 20 minutes or so in this conversation with Trudy, I'm going to show you that peace and calm are attainable for you. That balance that you are longing for is possible for you. I just can't wait to tell you more about that. So I am going to, for now, hand over to Trudy and we can get the discussion going.
Great. Thanks, Charlie. And just lovely to be with you all today. I've been following Charlotte for many, many years. And I always say to her, I wish I had had you 20 years ago. So I think inviting you all as women with young children now to follow her guidance and mentorship is just an amazing tool. And let me just say, even though your children will get older and move into teenage years and their 20s, they still need a certain amount of mothering, if you can say. And I think the skills that you build up when you're a new and young mother is amazing. But I'd like to just start today, Charlie, just talking to you about resilience and why you think resilience is so important for the working mum.
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Trudy. I believe I like to use the definition of resilience that HeartMath uses. I am qualified as a HeartMath coach, and this is kind of where my aha moments around resilience came from. And their definition of resilience is the ability to prepare for, recover from, and adapt in the face of stress, adversity, and challenge. And what I love about this definition is that when we think about resilience, we think it's this capacity to bounce back. And yet I love that first part of their definition, the ability to prepare for. And what I think this means for us as working mums is that we don't have to be knocked down by the challenges of life. We don't have to be so exhausted and burnt out before we can build up our resilience, before we have the capacity to manage stress and challenge. We actually can prepare ourselves for this. So we can walk into a room where there are going to be things, sensory stimulation, expectations, needs, deadline at work and children's needs and all the things. We can walk into a room or walk into a day prepared for that situation, for that day, for this season of motherhood. And being prepared for it allows us to then engage with life in a way that is all the things that we long for, that is calm, that is peaceful, that allows us to choose how we talk to our children, how we focus on our work, how we have an incredible relationship with our spouse, how we don't get flustered by the fact that we haven't taken anything out of the freezer for supper. We do have so much being thrown at us that we need this capacity to be resilient in order to really enjoy our lives and also to meet our goals. I mean, how many times have you made a New Year's resolution, for example, and you find that by February you've just given up because you were sabotaged by some ideas, some thought, some other thing, some kind of, oh, I just can't do this. Oh, these beliefs that we have that mean that we don't stick to the things that we set for ourselves. We wake up in the morning and we say, today I'm going to be the mum that I want to be, or today I'm going to focus on getting everything done. And when we are more resilient, we are so much healthier. I think that resilience is vital to our physical health. It's vital to our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health. And when we are healthier, when we are stronger, when we are able to stand kind of firm and steadfast with all of this chaos going on around us, we just feel so much better, and we are able to manage life so much better. Does that answer
Thanks,
the
Charlie.
question?
Yes, it does. But it also makes me think, life is actually so overwhelming at times, and there's so many unexpected things that come upon us. And the way you're describing the resilience, it almost feels like it's something that we've got to start working on as soon as we can to almost build up that fitness and that resilience, that ability to be prepared. And I just want to ask you, why do you think we struggle so much with the concept of resilience as women?
Well, I think that we haven't really thought about it. I think we go into motherhood with this excitement. And I mean, I remember when I was pregnant with my first child, 6 days before he was born, I was a bridesmaid at a wedding. I mean, I was like this big pink bus walking down the aisle. And there were a whole lot of mums with older children, and they were having a huge party. And so many of them kept coming up to me and saying, oh, I'm so excited for you, but this is the hardest thing you're ever going to do. And in my mind, I was kind of thinking, yes, I know, a few bad nights sleep, and I had no idea about what was actually coming my way. And I think that we suddenly find ourselves in this situation where we are trying to be everything for everybody, and we are living out these beliefs that society has put upon us, we have put upon ourselves, beliefs that we should do all of these things, maybe beliefs that the way we do it is the best, and if I'm going to be the best mum, I need to have it done my way. And so then we end up taking on all of these tasks ourselves, and we don't know how to set boundaries. We don't know how to take care of ourselves. And part of building up our resilience is the capacity to say no, or to ask for what we want. And for me, one of the fundamentals of resilience is this idea of emotional self-regulation. So when you're feeling guilty, guilt is exhausting, and mum guilt is such a huge thing. We feel guilty, then we're exhausted, then we behave in a way that we don't want to. We snap at our children, we don't meet a deadline, or we meet it in a way that isn't kind of our standard of excellence, perhaps. Then we feel angry with ourselves, and we end up in this cycle of stress and overwhelm. And what happens then is that we don't meet the results, or we don't get the results that we want. And one of the misconceptions, one of my absolute things I hear all the time, and I really believe is a misconception, is I just need more time. Mums say to me all the time, I just need more time. But I do not believe that it is a time issue. I believe that it is a resilience issue. And when we are more resilient, we are able to manage ourselves in response to all of the things that need doing and the expectations. And actually, we find that when we do so calmly and peacefully, we have more time. We're not making mistakes. We're not shouting at the children and then having to repair the relationship. We're not unfocused and scattered and all over the place. And suddenly we're able to actually do the things that we need to do. And we find that we can ask for help, we can set boundaries, and we do have the time for ourselves. And what a gift if that's all we get out of being more resilient. What a gift.
Thanks, Charlie. You know, you make it sound so exciting, because it just feels like there is something out there to make a difference to our lives, whether it's just coping with life in general, or being a mother, or being a wife, or being a boss. And it really does feel like, I know you're working on something really exciting, and I just have to ask you now, it sounds like we can build our resilience, and it sounds like we can develop our resilience. And if we can, which I'm assuming we can, because this is what you're actually building towards, how can we build our resilience? And what goes into actually building our resilience?
Well, I think that when we think about people, you know, I read a beautiful book the other day around this very topic. And it was by a lady who had gone and interviewed a whole host of gentlemen who had been in the war, and how she was looking at how some of them came back and they were able to hold down a job, they were able to have a relationship, they got married, they had children. And then there were others who really struggled. They came back from the war, they had huge PTSD, they ended up turning to alcohol or drugs. And what is the difference between these two kind of sections, or these two parties? And it is resilience. What is it that allows one group of people to respond to something like a war in a way that doesn't knock them down, that doesn't kind of pull the rug out from under them? And yet there's another group of people who can come back and can still manage, can still cope. And that, you know, that also makes me think about Viktor Frankl, who was in during the Holocaust and in the concentration camps. And he talks about that gap between stimulus and response, and where the choice lies in that gap between stimulus and response. And if listeners or viewers haven't heard of him, he was in the concentration camps looking at how was it that some people just gave up and died, where other people kept going. And this, I think, is what resilience is that capacity to keep going, to respond in a way that allows us to keep going, and so there is something to be said for perhaps a natural inclination towards it. I'm just going to wait for the internet. Are you there, Trude?
Yeah, I've lost you. Just let it come back. There you go. Go.
Be back. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said for this inclination to be more resilient. But I believe that resilience is all about developing a skill set that allows you to manage the stress of life, to manage the things that get thrown at you. As I've talked about this idea of emotional self-regulation, that is the fundamental skill set, which I think that we are missing in our generation. And, you know, we are so much more aware of it. Are you there?
Yes, sorry, Charlie. Yeah, we're so much
That's
more
okay.
aware of it. Yeah.
We are so much more aware of what that means for our children. You know, we want to teach our children, we're letting our children experience their emotions and teaching them how to label them, how to feel them, but we don't necessarily know how to do that. And I think that if we want to model that for our children, we need to learn how to do that. We almost need to gentle parent ourselves in a way that allows us to build that skill set, or that first fundamental element of the skill set that builds our resilience. So absolutely we can, through emotional self-regulation, through understanding the beliefs we have about ourselves, about the world, you know, getting to know the inner landscape of our own minds, what's going on in our own minds that causes us to react rather than respond, so that we can then, as Viktor Frankl says, have that choice between the stimulus and the response. So yes, absolutely, we can build our resilience, and at the same time, we can model it to our children so that they too can build their resilience, because they are going to need it more and more, I believe, in this world.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks so much, Charlie. And it does sound really compelling to actually like look for these tools and these skills that we can start working with, almost like, you know, going to gym and knowing we've got to do a whole lot of different exercises to build up the overall strength. So let's, I know you've been doing some wonderful work over the years now with your podcast and your coaching, but I just want to know, how can you help mums build their resilience now? What have you got going on that you're working on to help us all with resilient skills that we so badly need?
Well, I am really, really, really excited, because what's coming on the 1st of September, I'm actually launching something on the 1st of September that is almost the culmination for me of, I would say, the last 8 years of research, of personal experience, of coaching working mums in building their resilience. And for me, figuring out what it was that I needed when my son was born in 2018. I had to really learn these skills. I had to figure out how to be a working mom with a child who really required of me my presence and my attention. And today's episode, actually, the episode on the 6th of August, I think it's episode 54, talks about my journey to resilience. And so through my own journey and through using the skills and the techniques that I have learned in coaching other women, I have created a new program, a group coaching program, which is launching on the 1st of September, called Resilient. And this group coaching program is going to be a 6-month program where people who take part can expect to walk away with the awareness, the tools, the techniques, the capacity to stay calm, to choose how they respond, to have a more peaceful, easy life where they can engage with their children, where they can be present when they are with their children, where they can set boundaries both at home and at work, and where they can really focus and be intentional in how they show up in their workplace and in their home life. So I am really, really, really looking forward to launching on the 1st of September. It is really kind of, this is the culmination, I think, of my journey. And it's obviously going to grow as I grow more, but I'm at that point now where I'm just throwing it out into the world, and I'm over the moon about it.
Wonderful. That is so exciting. I'm actually signed up for the program and I really, really am looking forward to it. But don't you want to just let everyone know a little bit about what they can expect from the program, like how it'll actually work and what, is our involvement and commitment to it? And then what can we expect to walk away with? What is that feeling at the end of the program that we will have that will be the gift that we give ourselves by coming?
What I love about a group coaching program is that everybody that is there is in the same boat, should we say, or the same sea, because I love the idea of resilience. When we are more resilient, we can ride on our surfboard, we can ride the waves of life. We don't get knocked down by them. So we're all going to be in the same sea, in there together. There's going to be live coaching once a week. And in that coaching is an opportunity to really get to know what is happening for you now and to help you to build that skill set. When you leave at the end of the program, there will be training that you will be able to watch in your own time, and these live coaching sessions and other coaching touch points with me that will allow you to really build those mental muscles that will let you in the moment choose, how do I respond to this situation? They will give you the capacity to be able to think clearly, to make better decisions, to really engage deeply, to be able to let go of guilt and worry and resentment and frustration, and be able to live in that emotional space, that kind of renewing, energizing space of calm and compassion and peace that so many of us long for, and we kind of can see the benefits of it. But how do we get there? How do we move out of this chaos and this striving and this frustration to that calm, peaceful place where you then get the results that you want? So when you leave, you will know how to build, or you will have the muscles that will allow you to be in that space, in that emotional state that lets you get what you want, it allows you to be consistent.
Sounds amazing. And I know the power of being together in a group is often so impactful because we learn from each other, as well as obviously the skills that you're going to give us. And then also we'll be able to bring our experience between each session to the group to actually be able to explore and share. So I feel that the power of the group is going to be something that's going to be really beneficial, instead of us all feeling like we're doing it on our own in our own homes without any sort of link with anyone that can actually support us and even just be there with us, which sounds amazing. So Charlotte, what happens next? What must everyone who's listening to this do now to find out more, or to sign up, or to get involved in this program?
Well, first of all, I want to just address what I think a few people might be thinking is, this sounds amazing, but I just don't have time for it. And as I talked about earlier, I know that when we are more resilient, we have more time. So what I will say is that you actually can't afford not to do this. You can't afford not to build your resilience for yourself and for your children. And when you do take the time to engage in the work to really get to know yourself. It's such a joy when you get to know yourself. You will find that suddenly you are going to have more time, you're going to have more capacity, you're going to have more energy. And so, yeah, I just really want to touch on that point of, if you're listening and you're thinking, oh, this just sounds like another thing to do, I just want to say that you can't afford not to do it. It has, building my resilience has changed my life. I am able to do so much more and to say no to so much more so that I can do the things that I love to do.
Amazing.
So if you are interested in the program, if you want to talk more to me about it, or you want to undergo your own resilience audit, where we will look at what is happening for you now and what the next steps would be, I will put a link in the notes below to book a 30-minute complimentary call just to come and ask questions you might have, to do that resilience audit, to find out if the program is for you, and to ask any questions that you may have about it. I also do want to say that for anyone who is sold on it and keen to jump in, there will be, anyone who signs up in the month of August, there will be a 30% discount using the coupon code that I'll also put in the notes. So for anybody who signs up in August and joins us on the 1st of September, there's a 30% discount. But yes, come and join me in a resilience audit. Click on the link below to book that call and find out where you are in your resilience and what you can do, what steps you can take to build it, so that you can really, really enjoy this beautiful, incredible season of motherhood, working motherhood that we are in, that feels overwhelming, but can be amazing.
Great. Sounds amazing, Charlie. Is there anything else you want to just close off with, just that you feel that the listeners will probably just want to know?
I think I just want to reiterate again that it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be chaotic. It doesn't have to be difficult. We can, in the season, have ease and calm and peace. And one of my greatest joys is seeing the impact on working mums when they build their resilience, but also the impact on those around them. Obviously, the children of these mums, there is a huge shift in watching mums go from frustrated, shouting in the parking lot, to building deep, present, beautiful relationships, and watching their success at work, watching teams change and develop. So there is this incredible trickle effect. When we show up in a different way, we can have this incredible impact around us, on those around us. But the one thing that I know is that the only person that we can control is ourselves. So this is an opportunity to learn, how do I manage myself? How do I lead myself so that I can lead others?
Lovely. Amazing. Well, we're really looking forward to joining this program, and I look forward to being with many of you that are listening today on Charlotte's program every week. So all the best, Charlotte, and great to chat to you today about this.
Thank you, Trudy. Thank you so much for joining me and for your wonderful questions.
Pleasure.
Bye.